Hey everybody, welcome back to Kelly's Creations. I'm so glad you're here. Today's video, I am going to be using a old clock. It looks like it was a time clock I had gotten from Goodwill a few years back. I actually put that little flower on it and painted it. It was beige and I had it in my decor. But I was looking at it the other day and I'm like, you know what? This would make such a great vessel to hold a miniature. So we are going to reuse this project I had done in the past to create a miniature laundry or Nom's laundry. I have laundry on the brain. I think that's going to be my next video. A miniature sewing room. Oh, so cute. So first I had to get the back off, take out all of the clock inners. I am keeping the face plate of the clock. So I basically had to figure out how to take all of this out, which actually wasn't the easiest of tasks, but I figured it out and did it. Now it did have glass front in this metal rim that held the glass in. My original plan was, of course, to keep the clock face so you could always tell that it was a clock at one time. And I was going to put the miniature scene inside, put the glass back on. Well, an accident happened and my glass got knocked off my table. So it broke, it shattered, I couldn't use it. So this actually is just going to be a wide opening into this clock instead of being enclosed under glass. So I took that back plate off and painted it black. Now, I know I've been MIA. I've been MIA since March. I know. I've missed you all. I've missed crafting so much. But there were a few things we needed to get done. I had a new grandbaby born in that time. We went to visit, stayed for a week to help out, came back home and started a major DIY of our house to renovate the upstairs for my son and his fiance. We removed carpet, we put hardwood floors down, painted. It just, when you work a full-time job and your husband works a full-time job, when you do these DIY projects around the house, it takes time. So yeah, I've been gone for a little while, but I'm hoping to be back. And this is actually a project I had started before all of this took place, and I'm finally finishing it. So yeah, I am hoping to be back to regularly posting on Tuesdays. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So back to the project. I painted that back plate back. I painted all of the inside black as well, just to have a nice solid black backing so that everything else would shine and we wouldn't see like the old clock. It was like kind of a dingy beige, so I wanted that covered. When I redid this clock, I had painted it like a sage green, and I kind of wanted it to look just a little bit older. So I took that black, I kind of dry brushed over the sage green. I added some bronze to make it look a little rusted. I wanted it to just look a little vintage, not so clean and shiny, more black tones to it, I guess, but you'll see. It really turned out perfectly, exactly how I wanted it. This is personal preference, of course. If you find an old clock at Goodwill or any of your favorite thrift stores, you can paint it any color your heart desires. Okay, so I got the outside part looking exactly how I wanted it. Now I'm going to work on the inside. I wish the glass wouldn't have broke. I really did, because I think that would be really cool, like looking through the glass into the scene. Unfortunately, yeah, it shattered. So this was also a little dresser I had made for a project I did in a birdhouse, and that was so cool. Check out that video. I have the link up top here. Go check out how I did that scene in the birdhouse. But what I did is I cut it in half because I wanted to make this one dresser into two separate little dressers. And that worked out really good. Now, I like the green on it, and that was just using scrapbook paper. If you want to see, like I said, how I made this dresser, you're going to have to check out the birdcage video. So, I have two little dressers now. I'm going to glue those to the back of that clock face, and we'll get started on all the little miniatures that are going to go into decorating this. So all I did was use hot glue, and I know I have little corks flying all over the place because they were in that bottle that I'm actually going to take off. I'm not using that bottle, but that was part of the scene from the other video. So I'm just using hot glue. I'm going to attach both of these little dressers with hot glue, and then I will come back and start doing all the little miniatures to make this little sewing room come alive. So everything's attached. I had gotten this little sewing machine from Hobby Lobby in the clearance. And that's what started this whole idea. I love going to the clearance section and see if there's any miniatures on sale. And I loved this little vintage inspired little sewing machine. So of course that's going to be front and center on the desk. And I used hot glue to glue this down. Of course, for a more permanent hold, you would want to use super glue or E6000. I always use hot glue for video purposes because it's fast and I don't have to wait for it to dry. Now, I had ordered a packet of little bitty scissors off of Amazon. If you go to my Amazon store, you can see all my little miniatures that I love to purchase. This will be in that store as well to check it out. I glued a little, there was already a little doily glued down, so I glued that little scissors onto the doily. Now you could see, since that dresser I'm painting right now is actually the bottom of the big dresser because I flipped it over, so the bottom wasn't painted. So I took that green and just made sure that it was painted and the top little bevel was painted, and then I come in with the green and kind of go in between the drawers and highlight the edges with the green as well. I am also gonna add little buttons to the drawer pulls just because I thought that would be a cute little touch since this is a sewing room. Right now you see me painting the handles green because I didn't have that idea while I was doing this part. So every sewing room needs thread, and that's what I'm going to do here. That is just a little wooden bead, and I thought it would be super cute to take some white thread and just start wrapping it all around the center of that little wooden bead. And then I'm going to come in with longer beads and do a couple of those with different color thread as well to mimic big bolts of thread for my sewing room. Those spools of thread came out so stinking cute. Oh, I could have probably just made a ton more of those, but I only needed a few for this project. I grabbed some of my fabric and I am just going to cut the ends off of the fabric in three different fabrics. And these are going to be folded in little squares to make bolts of fabric, which are going to go on top of the other dresser. I have like bunch of these, like, I don't know what you would call them. Walmart sells like these bundles, I guess, and you can get them for like $3, and it's a really big piece of fabric. It's probably the end of the bolt that they sell, and I always look for really pretty fabric in that section because I usually don't need a whole lot of it, and you get a lot for $3. So check that out next time you're at Walmart. Right now, like I said, I'm just going to cut off just a little slivers off of the ends of these and to make little squares of fabric for my room. I am going to cut one little sliver to put in the sewing machine as well. So I need some height. So I'm going to take some hot glue, put it in that dresser. Since it was the bottom of the dresser, I needed it just a little taller. My miniatures were going to get lost. And I just took some of those beads and glued them down for height. That way I can put the beads that I put the thread on, and it will be taller in that section. Glue strings drive me absolutely crazy. But that worked. You can see the string now, or the thread. It gave it just enough lift off of the inside of there that it's visible, and that's exactly what I wanted. Here's where I'm going to cut just a little bit off of the fabric, and I'm going to hot glue that to the well, the bottom, I guess, of the sewing machine to make it look like I'm in the process of sewing something. So yeah, I just cut a little strip, put it on the sewing machine, cut a little piece of thread as well, and I hot glued that on top to make it look like the thread coming out of the sewing machine. It's the little things that you do that really make these scenes come alive, and just the little details that people notice. So I thought it would be cute to have thread actually in the sewing machine like I'm sewing a project. I went in my button stash and I grabbed the smallest buttons that I had. I'm going to hot glue these to the knobs of the drawers. I just thought that would be cute to have little button knobs on this dresser, since that goes along with the sewing theme as well. Now that fabric I cut earlier, I'm going to make into bundles, and I'm going to hot glue just a few bundles in the corner of the top of the second dresser. So Dollar Tree sells a bag of these tiny itty bitty little ABC blocks. And they're all different colors, but on the opposite sides, they have little circles, the same color as the letter on the blocks. And I thought if I put these all together using super glue, it would mimic a pegboard. I wish I would have been it. It's so funny. Does this happen to you guys? Like when I was doing the project, it looked like I was getting them straight. And then when I look back at it, it's a little crooked. But okay, it's this. None of my projects are ever perfect. I guess the fun is like seeing what you have in your stash and what you have collected that you can make little miniatures from. Um, yeah, I wish it would have been straight. You can see that little dip in the center, but it's still cute. It worked out exactly how I wanted it. It looks like a little pegboard. So I took my little scissors and I hot glued two scissors to it. I also hot glued a key. I just thought that would be fun to have a little pegboard and put little things on there. It's coming along so nicely. My final little addition is I have these die cut frames I got off of Temu, and I have these little bitty scrapbook papers off of Temu too. And there was actually a ballerina in there, and I thought that would be so cute because it kind of mimics like the old school, I can't remember what they were called, where you could buy the pattern and make your own dresses. I actually have one, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it was, but I just thought this would be cute to put on the wall, kind of like an old school pattern for a dress. So I cut the scrapbook paper in a circle, and I'm just going to use school glue to put that die cut frame over it, and I think that is like the perfect little picture for the sewing room. To put that metal frame back in place, now that metal frame was what was holding the glass, I'm going to use super glue. And I am going to put the metal frame back in because I think that finishes off the look. And I bought a package of these miniature little lights. They are so freaking adorable. Oh my gosh. And it's so nice to have like the smaller base. Dollar Tree sells, of course, battery operated little fairy lights, but the bases are so big. This actually has 3 settings, which is amazing. And yeah, it worked perfectly in this little room. Now to put the back on this, I am going to use hot glue instead of super glue. Everything is glued to my board, so all I had to do was put some hot glue in the corners and glue my board back in place. I'm going to reinforce it with more hot glue on the back in the edges so it won't move. Right now I am getting those dreaded glue strings off of it. So you can see me come back in with my hot glue gun, just reinforcing the back so it'll stay in place. Isn't that adorable? Oh my gosh. I think I like it without the glass because you can really see everything, but I think it would have been really, really awesome if that glass wouldn't have broke, because I think that would give it a whole nother dynamic. I have one more I can do, and I'm going to be very careful not to break that glass. But I think that one I want to do for Halloween, so we might have to wait a couple months to see that. So as you can see, those little bitty lights, that box, very accessible because all you have to do is put your finger in there and push the button. Now, of course, if the glass hadn't broke, this would be on the outside and I would have fed the lights through the hole. But since my glass broke, I could just put it on the inside and easily put my finger in there to light it up. So right now I'm taking my lights and I'm going around all of the edges of the box. That way everything in here gets lit up. The metal fairy lights is very bendable, and most of the time when you bend it, you can keep it to stay in place. But I will come in with my hot glue gun, add a couple dollops of hot glue to secure my lights and have them stay exactly where I want them. So I don't use an abundance of hot glue. I just come in just in a couple places and I push the lights into the hot glue so it'll stay put and not fall down. But yeah, I love these little lights. I got a package of 10. I think I got it off Temu, but I'm going to check out Amazon and see if they sell the miniature lights too. If they do, I'm going to put them in my Amazon store for you guys to check out. And there it is. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. I love the little details. I love the imperfections. It's just a fun project. You can do it, make it your own. It'll turn out totally different, but my videos are always just little suggestions for the everyday DIYer to explore making a little fun projects with miniatures. I'm getting tongue-tied today, probably because I haven't done this in so long. There it is in the dark with the lights on. Here it is in the light with the lights on. I did notice after I put the lights in that you could see the base. So what I'm doing is I took some of my favorite scrapbooking paper and I made a floor. That way when you're looking in, it's totally finished with a cute little floor. And here's some photos to check out the whole project. I'm so glad to be back, y'all. I know I was a little tongue-tied in this video. Yeah, being gone since March is like I forgot how to talk. So sorry, so sorry. But the project came out super cute. I've missed y'all so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like, that helps me out tremendously. And as always, have a blessed and wonderful day. I hope to see you guys either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday. I gotta play this by ear. All right. I love y'all. Bye.